Hello and welcome back to Exchanges, the Alex Martin podcast. Today, we are delighted to be joined by another top quality agent in the game. Please give a warm round of applause for the one and only Chris Henshall.
Thank you very much.
How are we doing, Chris?
Chaps. Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad, thanks. I'm very happy after the Leeds promotion at the weekend.
Congratulations,
so.
I'm repping.
Cheers.
As you can see.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you see it on the
Appreciate
camera,
that.
do you reckon? I'm going to wear it the whole pod.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you go to the game?
I went to the game. I got a season ticket, so I went and it was amazing. It's a weird one because normally we make it tense. Anything but we were 3-0 up within 20 minutes, so it was enjoyable.
But you had to rely on another game for you to go up, didn't you?
Had to rely on the Burnley Sheffield United game, but they needed to better our result, which I think going in form-wise was a struggle for them, I think.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was very enjoyable. A lot of songs, a few beers. I was driving, so not too many beers, obviously. It was good. Obviously, after the disappointment of not going up last season, I went to Wembley for the Championship playoff final. So delighted, back in the Prem.
Predictions for next year. We'll clip this up and
predictions. There's a few links of Mourinho at the moment, which I know. But like that's in the Leeds press a lot. You know, you get stuck into the old Twitter / X
I'd love
feeds, but they're on about Mourinho, and I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
Should we just?
It's a bit harsh on Fart. Obviously, he's done well, but I think with the squad he had, he should have gone up. And I think Mourinho get a few players in. Like that's what you need, innit? A few top players. So, to be able to stay up, you need something special. Ipswich struggled, Southampton struggled, Leicester have struggled. Maybe that's the answer. I know. You tell me. You're the football pod expert.
Yeah.
Mate.
I'm not really that much into EFL, to be fair, but I know Leeds have got a good squad. I don't think Farke is good enough to manage in the Premier League.
Do you think about sacking him, aren't you?
Yeah, they'll get rid of him.
Yeah, they'll just get rid of him and get like someone in. Mourinho is the link. I haven't heard about anyone else, but
We've already
lost
every viewer, by the way, that doesn't watch football. And do you know what? We don't even want them.
No. To be fair, when I came on, I was thinking it's all about football for me. Don't forget about property. It's boring. So there you go.
So
anyway,
Chris, I'd say that you are probably the most unfamiliar guest that we've had so far, and I don't mean that with any offence. You know, I don't know you personally. Ben doesn't know you personally. Or is this the first time you met?
I think it's the
first time we met. Yeah.
I don't know that obviously you and Alex know each other, but you're not quite as intimate as other guests.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the audience, firstly, who you are, what you do?
So, quite similar to Alex, I've got a commercial investment agency called Henshall Partners. We sell commercial property, investment property, land, a bit more difficult as of late, but we normally sell existing use buildings. So whether that is vacant with income, we've got the new use class order, which is E-class, which gives you a variety of different types of users. And yeah, we're quite busy. We do a lot of different variety of deals, which I think in this market is quite advantageous because you've got different buyers that will pay more money for certain stuff that others wouldn't, which gets you more money for clients. And I think, we're doing well. We're more on the landlord side, so we sell and act for the landlord vendor. So that's whether that's leasing or sales, which I think you guys have got into a bit more than you previously had.
Do you do any acquisitions?
Limited. I find acquisitions difficult. I think you're always up against it odds-wise. You've obviously got other agents that have got their friends and buyers that they're always going to try and do favours to. And I feel like I've tried a lot on the acquisition side and it's difficult. And we get so much stuff now to sell, or someone might come to us and say, I've got this building, can you find a buyer? Which effectively is sort of like an off-market in for some of our clients that want stuff.
I always thought of you as sort of the development agent, site assembling, resi play long term, but I also see your boards up a lot on the sort of shell and core ground floor commercial stuff. So is that a spin-off? You sell the building, you let it get developed, and then it comes back to you to put to the market?
Yeah, I think we've become, as the years have developed, so I set up Henshall Partners 2017, and as we've gone, I used to be predominantly a land agent, but that market's very difficult because it's difficult to fund. Land deals are hard because of the expense of building stuff now, which doesn't always stack up. So what we've tried to do is we've got those relationships with house builders, developers. They've got a lot of new build commercial stock, so that's just like ground floor commercial. We've sort of built the relationship there to get the instruction. We've got the buyer database, the tenant database. we're doing deals with like blue chip tenants. We might do a let into like a Sainsbury's or Waitrose. We add a lot of value. So we pick up a lot of those schemes. So we've got some key clients like Fairview, some of the HAs, like we do a lot with Peabody. And they just sort of,
What's Peabody?
it's a housing association. And they know that we deliver. They know that we're consistent. They know, I think like I've got a reputation for knowing how to put a deal together. And I think a lot of people in this market now want reliability of an agent that delivers. And I'm sure that's why you guys are sort of, on a D1 side and
D1 now gone.
yeah, you're D1, but you've got the buyers and you get the deals done, and that's what people want. They don't want.
Yeah, that's that commercial stock, ground floor, shell and core. That's hard to shift.
It's hard, but if you understand it. I mean, like personally, I've invested in it as well, so I've got like a real passion for it because I do understand. I bought like little shell and core units that have had no fit out. So basically, shell and core, to like explain it simply, there's no fit out in there initially, so it's.
I remember shell and core.
Yeah, it's screeded floor,
like grey walls and everything.
exactly.
And
So
like,
it's you've got the glazing, you've got screeded floors often, you've got the services in there, so you've got electric and water, not very much gas for new developments, and basically you're sold it in that condition. But the deal that you do is you then lease it to a tenant and you give them rent free to do their fit out. Now the way that often works is you give them say 6 months rent free, which let's just say on a small unit might be 30 grand a year, so you're giving them 15 grand's worth of fit out. They'll often spend 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand because they want 100 grand.
Yeah.
It often will be a lot more than the rent free that you're giving them, but they're investing into the property that you own.
It's worthwhile, isn't it, for the landlord?
That you own, and then you've got the DLAPs and you've got the schedule and condition, and you can do a deal with them where you say, "Don't worry, I'll take it." With 10 years time, they want to leave the lease. They've done the fit out. You say to them, "Don't worry, I'll take the property back. You don't need to spend the money to take it back to what it was," which is normally the way that it's done. They've got to then take it back to the condition that they took it, which is shell and core. Mm. And then you re-let it at a much higher rent for the existing use of the building, and you've locked in a huge amount of value because the rent might be double, triple. Yeah. In 10 years' time, it might be 5 times what you've done initially, and then the investment value is a lot more. So it's just understanding the asset
and this
class.
is what you specialise in.
I've become a bit of a specialist in that market, and we get a lot of stock. We've just taken on 20,000 square foot for Fairview in Brentford, which is 9 units. We've just got Peabody have got 20. A lot of these new build developments, if there's like 150 units plus, they've got a lot of commercial on the ground floor.
I was going to say they're predominantly new builds because I think it's a requirement you've got to have commercial.
Exactly, they're re-providing what they've often bought. So let's say, the studios here, you've got 40,000 square foot of warehouse studio space. A developer might buy it to do loads of new flats, like 1,000 new flats on this whole site. Yeah. But there's 40,000 square foot of existing commercial. They'll have to put that back within the scheme.
So what class would this be?
This would be E-class.
Really?
Yeah, this would be E-class. And it would go back in on the ground floor of the new scheme, and then they need an agent to be able to lease it, sell it, and there's a lot of money in that. If you are the agent that specialises, because you do so many of those deals,
especially with the amount of new builds that are going up now as well, it's like
that's it. That's
everywhere.
the model.
Is it true? I know back in the day when I was a straight commercial agent, the developers they really didn't put any value in the GDV on that commercial space. It was all about the resi value, and if they exited with any value on that ground floor, that was cream. Is that still the case, or I think the line's tighter now?
I think they still think like that, but they know there's value, so they know that if they can get a good agent on it to add the value, or to understand that there is an increase in what they thought it might be worth, it's important to make sure they explore that, and which is what we're doing. Yeah. So like Fairview, you've got build cost value. So let's say the commercial is 200 quid a foot and the resi's 300 quid a foot, just for like easy, like to build. They might say that, right, we'll have it in at 200 quid a foot. We'll make sure we exit at that level. We're happy because all the profits in the resi. If we get involved and we get them 250, 260 on the commercial, you're making them quite a lot of money across 20,000 square feet. Remember, that's 20,000 square feet times 50 or 60. Mm-hmm. So you're making them a lot of money. So it's all about ensuring you're giving them the right advice. If you can lease stuff to good covenants, so like a Waitrose, Sainsbury's, you add a huge amount of value to their scheme. And it's all cream on top of the existing profit that they've banked into buying.
And is there always a tenant, or do you look at certain schemes in areas and say, no chance?
No, not always a tenant. VP value is good as well. You get a lot of you get a lot of different nationalities now that coming into London that want to open their own shops and their own, whether it be a lot of private Turkish convenience stores. That's something that a lot of Turkish investors buy.
Barbers.
Exactly right. Barbers. You get a lot of
Kebab shops.
We've just done like a Japanese rice store. They took a unit. You've got a lot of dentists.
Yeah.
They can be like Middle Eastern. There's a lot of like Middle Eastern money for dentists. They'll pay quite strong money for those. And the money that the owner occupiers will pay is often on par with what the investment value is once you've leased it. Not if you do a Waitrose or a Sainsbury's deal, because that goes down to like a 5% yield rather than a 7%, 8%, which is what it's at with a local tenant. But it's all about understanding that market. If you're doing it regularly, you're really adding value to people. And it's sort of a niche we've picked up, a bit like Alex with the D1 stuff is sort of where we've fallen.
Do they ever sell off the ground floor commercial, or do they always only ever rent it?
What, the house builders and stuff?
Yeah.
More often than not, they always want to sell it because basically they open all these schemes in SPVs. And so the whole asset will sit in the SPV and they'll want to get out of the SPV and close it. So sometimes the end units they want to get rid of quickly, and sometimes we'll have investors that will pick those up cheap because they'll want it done quickly and they want a cash buyer. So we'll offer them a quick, cheap deal. And it works for the landlord, the developer, because it costs them money holding a large SPV with accountants and stuff like that. So
you get approaches from faith groups for that space.
So the problem with the faith groups and the new build, they don't always coincide with the resi above. Absolutely. So it's like, it's the noise and stuff.
With Shell and Corby trying to do something recently, they just can't see the vision.
I have to struggle. They get to that. They got their 30% already sorted, but they can't get their head around that fit out cost, and it's like it's never going to happen. So I never try.
Can they finance the fit out cost often?
They don't get it. They just don't. No. They can't finance it.
No,
and then they want a load of parking, and those schemes rarely have parking.
No, that's the other thing, parking.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a bit of a niche where I feel like this is why, when I found it interesting, Alex asked me on the pod because we're both competitive.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how do you cross over? What's the ideal scenario for when you want to give Chris a call or you want to give Alex a call? What comes up?
We're of very similar nature, but we're not competitors really, are we? We're in completely different sectors. There may be some sort of land deal to be done where we get involved.
So where did you two first meet each other, or how?
I actually know, but I saw the previous pods, and I know that's been asked, so I just wondered. You don't know? You don't remember? Yeah, of course. I was doing my research. Got to. Don't remember.
I can't remember. No.
It was a non-event of a meeting, but I was selling the upstairs of Up the Creek in Greenwich,
wow.
and you came, and my old boss at Acorn was like, because I was like, these are the people that are coming to the inspection. Yeah. And Alex's name was on the list, and he was like, yeah, he's the man for churches, so that's who he is. And I was like, I don't know, in my mind I was thinking, what does that mean? So it's a bit of a backstory. So I'm from the Midlands, moved to London after uni. So sorry, went to Exeter Uni, moved to London after that. No experience in property. London is wild for property. Like I think Alex would probably agree with me. Being in the markets that we trade in, so I'm 2011 I started. I'm not old, but I've been doing it for sort of 15 years, and it's a mental place. There's lots of stuff going on. So when someone says, oh, they act for loads of churches, you're thinking, like, what does that even mean? But I think, Alex, you just came up, I think you looked at it yourself on behalf of rather than with people, and it was very like...
Lucky you, because it could have
been... Yeah, exactly. I'm glad, because it could have taken a lot of time out of the day, which the time wasn't valuable then, to be fair.
Did you want to get into property? Was that your dream? Or how did and then getting into Acorn, I think Acorn is an amazing place to go to cut your teeth, learn the trade. The people who come out of Acorn are usually proper hardcore.
There's some good agents. There's some good agents who come out of Acorn, to be fair.
He's laughing at me because Joe was giving me a question to ask you. That
is literally exactly what we're talking about.
What's the question?
He said that there's proof of a lot of people coming out of Acorn and building their own successful agencies.
Yeah.
What is the meaning behind that? Why is that the case so often?
And is it they just pick personalities, or are they, no, you do it this way, and they just fucking train you hard?
That's a good question.
It's like La Masia.
Yeah. It's like the Basque region for all the managers, isn't it? It's true. I think The answer is you're thrown in at the deep end very early doors. So you get there and you're just thrown into doing deals. That's what you're supposed to do, which I'm sure you guys are the same. But I think I pay quite a lot of credit to Tom and Jeff, who my old bosses like now. And I met Jeff recently, so he's now left and doing his own thing.
Yeah,
and I think when you leave Acorn, they're a bit disappointed because they think that you're going to be there for the long haul. But really, they give you a great opportunity, great training ground. They teach you to be an elite agent in terms of like negotiating for your client, getting the best deal.
Did you just describe yourself as an elite agent?
Yeah, I wouldn't. You got to crop that. You got to.
No, I don't care. I rate him. He's up there.
Not elite agent. You train yourself to be a good agent. Whereas it's not elite.
Okay,
so
but you're saying you train yourself, but you say they train you. I mean, there's like we have in an office and we role play. So you'll say, mate, I've just had this call. He's going that way. I don't trust him. There's something, and we role play it. So what's the motives? And we get to a conclusion. He goes into bat. Is that what's going into at Acorn, or is it?
I think
is it like a crash course?
It is a bit of a crash course, yeah. They because you're in a team and they are very good at that. They really suss situations out. People, it's all about people, right? Being a good agent is sussing out the people that are involved in the transaction. So you've got to be I wish I did psychology at uni because I think that would probably. But then again, like university, they probably don't teach you the things that you learn on the job.
My favourite thing to discuss.
Yeah, I do it. Listen, I've had like a team in the office where I've done these conversations millions of times. Like I'm sure Alex, it's all about psychology and working people out. And I'll give you an example, right? Alex rang me recently on a deal that we've done in Chingford.
Yep.
And you rang me on it, and you were asking me about the building next door that I was selling. Yeah. And as soon as you rang me, I knew exactly what was going on. You'll smile, but what Alex was doing...
So can I just say, annoyingly, I was told to ring you, and I thought, I'm going to ask about this building, and he's going to absolutely know what's going on here. I was instructed to...
I'm never ringing you.
And I was like...
I know speed bumps down the road, right? So I know that Alex would never, ever have a client for the thing that I was selling, which was an income deal, right? Yeah. So it's just a vanilla income deal. It's not any, like... D1s, it's not vacant possession, you've got lots of different leases, it's just not that deal.
Yeah.
But he's rang me and I'm doing the deal on the building next door, which is a D1 deal, and his name comes up on my phone, and the immediate thought to me was, I know why he's ringing me. I know what he's doing
from a mile away.
Yeah, I know what he's doing.
See, I have these relationships with agent where I'm just like, blah, I put it all out there, I trust you, it's not gonna, and I wasn't allowed to do it, and I just felt I rang you and my pants were just round my ankles.
I'm glad you've opened up to that, because obviously like I thought it'd be interesting to bring that up, because I knew what you were doing, and when you rang me, and bear in mind, by the way, that I don't.
Would you have done the same thing if you were in his shoes?
He got asked to do it by his client. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have done it because I know that Alex would know what I'm doing, and it might have alerted me, which it did alert me.
Yeah.
Did you think that he was going to know what you were doing?
100%.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me just ring him and be real.
So the story is, so I'm selling this building next door, which is like an income. It's not the deal that Alex gets involved in, but I'm doing a deal on the building next door from being involved in the
literally next door.
It joins the site,
right?
And basically, it was cheap, and I knew it was cheap, so I was like, let's get a buyer into that one.
Can I ask?
Not owned by the same.
How long had you been on it? Because I've been on that one for 2 years, on and off with different parties.
And
it's been driving me insane.
Not 2 years. Yeah. So when I got instructed, I went there, I looked at it, and I was like, what is this? And then looked at it, found out the agent selling it, found out the price, been messed around by, we won't talk about parties, but the guy that was on it before. Yeah. And rang the agent. I was like, what's he paying? I thought that is just ridiculously cheap. So the other thing that I look at is like existing use value, like pound per square foot, what they paying. It was just ridiculously cheap. So I was like, that is a deal. So I found a client. Let's buy this. Let's do it. Got it under offer with.
We saying
Glenny's.
It's Glenny's marketing, yeah.
Yeah, Glenny's were marketing it, which is fine. They were on the marketing details. So I rang them up. Built a little bit of a rapport quickly with the agent. I was like, look, mate, I can get this deal done. Like, let's get it gone. You've had it under offer for ages. Got it under offer, and that was like got it into legals, progressing it, and we were maybe a month and a half in, 2 months in. This is when Alex showed up, and I just thought, he's rang me, and I knew when he rang me what it was about. He asked me about this. I knew it was about that, and I thought, alarm bells. He's got a client for it. They're going to be doing something direct or at it. And it's not him doing anything untoward for me. It's just the market.
The funny thing,
just the market.
No, but the funny thing was,
I'm not upset by it. It's what it is.
were kind of then I could ring him and we were acting for the same client, but there was more than one party involved. But my instructions were keep my mouth shut, and it just killed me.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It is, honestly, it is completely fine because I get it.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, and I don't get upset by that sort of stuff. And I actually think Alex is very respectful, nice guy. He's never done anything untoward to me. He's got his clients' instructions. He was on it for 2 years, and I suspected he might have been on it for a longer time before I got involved, and it's fine.
It's so hard. Like,
it's
in
hard.
I had it under offer with one client.
fine.
We can talk about value another time. I don't really want to talk about the building, but it looks amazing on paper until you know that market. So one client fell away. Then the party who had it, I said, mate, this is your dream building. And he just messed around with it for 12 months. And it was like, wow. And then I knew it was wobbling. I had a feeling. And then someone else was on it. I just put two and two together. It's going to be you. And I was like, can I just have that conversation? And I was like, no, just find out what he's saying. Okay.
It's tough. It's
I'll
tough.
tell you what, though. This will allow me, the next time it happens, I'm just going to play my usual cards. Yeah, we'll talk more openly.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's just...
It's the best way to be, but it's so hard. You make so many relationships in property, but at the end of the day, it is dog eat dog, and you've got to do what your client's asking you to do, and you've got to play the game.
And if there isn't trust, and that's the thing. I mean, the amount of times I sit opposite a developer who's at the end of a coffee or whatever, and he's sitting on his leather Chesterfield with his 50 grand watch on, giving it the large plasma screen behind, and then he'll go, bring me deals, Al. And I'm like, mate, no, you bring me the stuff. There's going to be stuff that you're about to throw in the bin and it's not worth anything to you. Just bring that to me and I might see a different angle. And what's your risk? And they won't do it because their pride, I don't trust, you're going to give it to you and you're going to run with someone else on it. Their naivety. And the way I've built the business is having a hardcore people who I can just chat 100% and know I'm not going to get shat on. And maybe they may walk off and do something and do it. And then they'll come back and say, Al, I earned money from that. There you go. You get looked after.
Yeah.
But even for you, I think it's more your conscience than anything. I hear him in the office sometimes. He'll have a conversation, and like I feel like sometimes you get off the phone, you're like, maybe that wasn't the right conversation, but at least your conscience is clear.
Yeah,
you've got it off your chest.
It's not about the fee.
I've done what I need to do.
Yeah.
Relationship's key. It is key. But at the end of the day, we're all here for money. Like, life goes round when you earn. So if there's a deal where your fee's in jeopardy because someone's shown up and is trying to take your fee away from you, you have to protect it through your skills.
I 100% agree with you, but that's the acorn in you as well.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it is.
I mean, you try and look, I respect Acorn so much, and the amount of people say, if I want to sell something, I take it to Acorn. They're great at what they do, but you don't get a huge amount of love from them. If I brought a little bit of value, I've got to fight hard if they're going to sharing their fee with me.
I was going to go back to that Acorn point. I know what you were saying about, and a lot of people have said it before, but like it can't be bulletproof. We've worked with Acorn a couple of times, and we haven't been that impressed with. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes the transparency isn't always there.
No, that's what I'm saying. But they are a hardcore. There's a wall up. They protect themselves. They protect their fee, and they're fucking good at it. Yeah. So I've got nothing but respect for that.
That gets transmuted into all the agents that have worked there. I think that word.
As you say, your DNA now.
Yeah, but I think they really teach you that to make sure they see the issue down the road and they're like, watch out for that because these people. I just think they teach you to be protective, and there's a lot of people now that are a bit naive. I think naivety in property ain't a great thing to have because people will just turn you over a lot of the time.
Unless you're lucky, but you're right. If you're unlucky with the wrong person, they will turn you over.
There's a lot of people trying to do it now. Like, you've got all this hybrid agency now, you've got all these estate agents that are turning into their own brands and they'll be fighting all over. They'll be all after the same kit. And the problem is now, the pricing's wrong because you've got a load of hybrid agents that work for themselves pricing things at the wrong levels to get the instruction because they just want the gravitas of having some kit on their books. Yeah. And it's no good for the market because people can't get stuff sold and it sits there for people for longer and they might need the money for doing other things. And there's lots of repercussions of not pricing things correctly, which is, I think, like, if you're too nice to an owner and he tells you he wants £1 million and it's worth 750 and you don't like that difficult conversation, but you're an agent that wants to get into the game. Yeah. And he says to you, at your first view, and I know you did a bit of time with Alex, and he said, I want £1 million, and you want to take that instruction back to your boss or whatever you're doing and show you've got an instruction, and you've taken it on £1 million. That is no good to anyone if it's worth 750. It really isn't, because it's not going to sell for £1 million, especially today. Maybe back in 2015, 13, 14, 15, when the market was mad, where funding was really cheap, you could just do deals, great. But today, it's going to sit on the books. You're going to annoy your client because it's going to be there for too long. You need to be giving the right advice from experience.
It's like an easy way out. You say to the client, "Oh, I can get you this," and it's like it's so unrealistic. You're never going to get it. But they say it to get the instruction, and they can't. Like, we've had it on a couple of things recently.
I get the motivation though. I mean, the business was built from acquisition, so starting to get instructions, you just want it. You want to have that on Rightmove, pick up new inquiries, grow the business. So, as you say, those startups, you can see why they're doing it. But
we almost want
right.
to guide too low. We say to them, "Listen, let's guide lower than what we expect. Get the interest in, get people in the door, and then." Drive the price
but
up
your business is. I find it quite. I was quite interested to come on because your business is similar to the direction that we're going a little bit. We're getting involved with the auctioneers because so the auctioneers thing's an interesting thing because obviously you get the piggyback of the Savills or the Acuitas or whoever or Allsop, whoever the auctioneer that you're working with, which is great for us, right? Because they're a household brand and we're a newer establishment agency that are trying to get involved. But the thing is, the auctioneer style is great because you do generate a load of interest and often you get above the price that it's worth. You can negotiate in a room with 10 people, but if you've got no one, they feel you're clutching at straws. They feel you're clinging on to interest and you can't drive them up above. But if you've got more people, it's like, I don't know, the drops that they do for trainers, right? If you get like the Yeezy drops or whatever on the trainers, everyone turns up. You could probably sell a pair of Yeezy trainers on the day for 500 quid that are probably worth 300 quid.
Because it's shiny new toy.
Shiny new toy, that's it. But if you do it with the auctioneer style, which I really like, which is where if you can get owners to agree to price things right, you can then push the price.
I agree, but it's not necessarily pushing the price up. You get the close. So we've done it probably about 10 times now with Savills. And
maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe a bit more. And they've been buildings we've probably been struggling with. And then you finally get it under offer and you're still 3 months away from it possibly exchanging. Put it in a Savills auction, put a deadline on it, and suddenly you may still only have 1 or 2 parties, but they're focused and they desperately don't want to lose it. They never get to the room, or they rarely get to the room. And we just close it, and we're like, bang, it's done, and it's actually the exchange has happened.
We're the same.
Fear of it going to the room. It's like, you tell them the facts, right? You say, look, you've got 12 people registered to bid. So in their head, they know that 12 people are actually going to bid on the day. And they're like, well, we don't want that to happen because then it will go up and up and up. Then they'll buy it on a pre-auction contract before it exchanges straight away, and they've got 21 days to complete.
And we're talking about these deals that we put under offer on private treaty contracts that take months and months and months, and we're locked in with this style of agency which is on our own because you're linked with the auction houses, but it gets stuff done and actually forces this pressure which is gone. I heard you talking about to Gemma when she was previously on about like what how quickly can you get deals, the old attended exchanges, like that's a dream to us as agents, isn't it? Imagine if you could do attended exchanges now. You obviously you get your fees in right away, so you're earning your money rather than pipeline business. We're a pipeline dream as agents, aren't we? We're always pipelining deals and when's that going to drop and stuff like that. If you could do this attended exchange stuff, which is what the auctioneers do, it's great because you are putting pressure on people to actually be proper buyers and do deals right away. And if you're serious and you want something, just get it done.
That corporate world, which it was weird that you went to JLL. Yeah, how was that in a very corporate world? Because I look at those people and they're far more articulate and educated than me and can write an amazing marketing report and all the rest of it. But give them a phone and just say, go make me some money. I very much doubt they're that good. And you went into that world from Acorn. That must have been a massive cultural clash for you.
Do you know what? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So Acorn, I was there from 2011, 2015, or 2016, 5 years, and it was like slogging. I was in every day, 8 a.m., finishing 7 p.m. I used to work weekends sometimes. I loved it, but I was very driven to do well. That's always been my thing. I always wanted to do well. And then when... basically, I was on commission at Acorn, so I was doing quite well at the end, and then JLL matched my salary plus commission for 18 months based on I didn't have to do a deal at JLL if I didn't need, it wasn't based on me doing any deals there. So I was like, this is a no-brainer for me. Let's try and see what it's like. So I'm not losing anything moving on, which is always the money thing, moving on from a commission-based agency. And I got there and they were great. And you learn to be more corporate. You learn to deal with more institutional clients. So you speak a little bit more polished. You pick things up from other people in meetings, and people are dealing with like banks and pension funds and all this sort of thing, which when you're at Acorn you don't deal with because that's not on their client roster. And you really polish yourself as an agent. But in terms of like culture, they loved it as well. I walked in there and they were like, who is this guy? What is he all about? He's on the phone to all these people all the time. He's telling people what to do. He's running these deals. And they were like, I actually did a presentation on Ormside Street. Wow. To the guys at JLL. They were like, please, because the other thing at the bigger firms is the fee rates are a lot lower. So they might be on 0.5 point or 1%. That's the standard stuff because they do a higher ticket value transactions. Whereas, you know, on the smaller stuff, you get 2% often. And, you know, Ormside turned into a what we traded it at, £3.7 million deal. So we were on 2%, right? So that's a decent fee. And they were like, you've just pulled in like best part of 80 grand. Like, please can you tell us how you've done this? Because it's a £3.5 million transaction. What has happened here for you to bring this building, which is like, for them, a rundown warehouse, bear in mind they're used to dealing with shiny offices and stuff. How have you made this into being? So I think it was like...
I think you picked up the property there as a rundown warehouse because it was a parlour.
Yeah, it was worse than that, I think.
From Wolf of Wall Street, you know, when he goes to the new penny stocks place, and he starts pitching, and they're like, "How the fuck?"
Honestly, you know, I'm not comparing myself to that, but it was a clash of worlds, and it was really interesting because they embraced it as well, and some of the top agents at JLL were good as gold to me. They used to collar me in the lifts, and they'd be like, have nice chats to me, like, really interested in like what you're doing, and we find it great and you should carry on. They weren't trying to deter me, trying to turn me into a corporate. They really embraced it, which I thought, I just loved it. And they were really good. They were good as gold to me. They gave me a lot of freedom, which I didn't have at Acorn, which Acorn was a bit more estate agency. You know, they try and just make you focus on, you know, call as many people as possible. JLL, we had hybrid offices. We had the West End, we had the City. You could work from wherever you wanted. You know, there was no pressure on deals because it was like, just bring in what you can bring in. And it was great. It was never a perfect world that was going to last because I was always doing my own deals and I always wanted to do my own thing. But it was almost like a perfect thing. And do you know what I thought? I thought I'd probably set up Henshall Partners and I might sell it to one of these firms one day. And that was always my thought at the start, that when I set it up, that could happen because, you know, the Hatton boys, they sold in, you know, that's what they're doing now with Compton. Yeah. I don't always buy into some of the stuff that they're doing, it seems a bit, but they're great agents and that's how it works. And I thought maybe one of these big agencies at some point might need access to a bit of a ducker and diver agency where they can actually get, because I was predominantly a land agent before, so you're serving them up loads of new build sales. So that would be resi. So if you do a big land deal with residential, they get all the, so basically it's all the spin-off business. So they get all the new home sales. They get all the new commercial sales, which obviously we're specialising in at the moment. And with those businesses, all about the spin-offs, because it's not just you know, the deals that you're doing on that particular transaction. You might get insurance money. There's a lot of spin-off in property to become a one-stop shop with lots of different angles for fees. So it was good. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was a perfect stepping stone for me to go out on my own because it allowed me to sort of step away from I think when you're a small agent, you go out on your own, like, you know, there's always pressures of like dealing with the same clients and stuff like that. So yeah.
You're very fluent. You seem like you've been waiting to get a lot of this off your chest. I can see the veins popping out.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. You know, to be fair, I've never done a podcast ever before. No, it's not my.
I mean, we say it to everyone, but it does really seem like you're very fluent on camera. Like,
okay.
Not,
just probably being the most chilled. Like, do you know what I mean?
Is chilled the right word?
Not chilled.
I'd say educational.
Yeah.
No, but everyone feels comfortable. Yeah. It's like relaxing.
Yeah.
How have the other, like, yeah, Tom seemed very like, you know, when he was talking about farming, I was like, he was like, I was thinking he's a clever fella. So
Do you know Tom?
No, I didn't know him at all, but I've spoken to him since, which is weird. I don't know, because you probably mentioned that I was coming on and he then reached out to me, and he seems a very nice lad, by the way. He seems like a great guy. And Gemma as well, I don't know Gemma at all, but I've seen her involved on a lot of transactions when I was at Acorn. So she used to deal with, you know, the guys at, it was Alan that used to be at Philip Ross as well.
Yeah, boss, immediate boss.
Okay, right,
Is it a small world?
Yes, very small world, yeah. You got and this is the thing where you've got to be careful when. I just had lunch with Dave Elliott from Landhold, who Alex knows well, and he actually dropped me off because I couldn't get an Uber from the pub that we were at, which is why I'm late. Sorry about that. But it's a small world, and you do need to make sure that you are respectful and operate in the right way with other people.
Yeah.
But I think also at the same time, you need to know how to stand up for yourself and be not a walkover in certain respects, which obviously, when it comes to a deal, if someone gets involved and they starts poking around in a deal where you're going to make money, like we're talking about the one with Alex, shut the door. Or not shut the door, but just know what's coming so you can protect yourself, which obviously that transpired into quite a complex situation.
It did.
We might agree.
Not quite there yet.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But you just need to know the speed bumps down the road, which I'm sure you get the talks in the office.
I do. On the way to work, in the office, on the way home from work.
Yeah.
As I say, it's never boring.
I did it with so I had two boys that worked with me, so Charlie and Cameron. Cameron's gone to Michael Elliott, which is like, they're doing proper deals. They're selling £50 million, £100 million buildings. Like they do
like the Shard.
They do like the Royal Exchange.
You
Exactly
just
right.
undervalued the Shard.
Yeah, you probably undervalued it. But honestly, so that firm is like Trophy Assets London. That's what they do.
Okay.
And Cameron worked for me as a graduate, and I trained him up. And then the guy from there interviewed him and took him on. And I just took it as a huge compliment, because if that sort of firm is taking on someone that I've trained up from uni, like, I can't argue. When he told me where he was going, I was like, I based my whole firm on the premise of what they do to an extent. Obviously, you've got to start somewhere, but that's, you dream big, right?
It's like Southampton selling to Liverpool.
Exactly, yeah.
Not disrespect, but yeah, you know what I mean?
Like Leeds said it to Liverpool.
But I sort of just took it as a great compliment, and what can you do? And like those sorts of agencies, they're the creme de la creme. They're selling like, Chanel on Bond Street, they'll sell that building. They've got all the high net worths in Qatar or Saudi or whatever. They're the people that do those deals. And, if they think that someone that I've taken on is good enough for them, then
it's
I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's flattering. What can you say? You can't stop someone from career progression. It's like, as a podcaster, if you got offered like a top podcast with a huge following from what you're doing now, and you had to abort your own thing,
you got to take the next
you probably
step.
might take it.
So how many employees do you have?
So at the moment it's just me and my fiancée Chloe. So it was previously me, Chloe, and Charlie and Cameron, and we took the view that Cameron went to Michael Elliott, Charlie went to RIB, which is another good firm. He actually lives opposite me now, which is quite strange. He offered Charlie a job quite soon after I'd moved into the house opposite him, which I always thought was a bit of an interesting move.
It is interesting.
He's a nice fella. The guy's, I don't think it's actually direct.
He's coming on pod, no?
No, we've got Damien Field coming.
Have you got Damien? So it's Anthony. Anthony lives opposite me in the house opposite, so you can ask him about. A bit of spice. I'll be back, mate. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back for my flag. Which is on the corner.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, get the Leeds flag back up, mate.
That's poor.
Yeah, it's poor. It's poor. Yes, where were we going with that? We were talking about what were we talking?
Your employees.
Yeah.
So it's me and Chloe. Yes, it's me and Chloe. So, which is great. Obviously, have your fiance.
Is it great? Really?
It is great. It is great. Yeah. We're going
recorded.
It's been recorded. Yeah, exactly.
Would you work with your missus?
Not a chance.
I think. Do you know what?
You won't even go on a date with her. We'll cut that out.
That's got to stay. That's got to stay. Do you know what? It's actually really good. Like, it had its teething problems where. So Chloe's background was she worked for Harrods originally, and she was on the grad scheme at Harrods, and then she got into marketing, and she worked at Tesco's doing their marketing campaigns, and another firm called Dunhumby, and they do like different So she's expert marketeer, I would say. So she's really good at like the emails and the social media and all that sort of stuff. And that is the world we've moved into, right? That's like huge. And when I first started Henshall Partners, like maybe 18 months in, I employed someone to do the social media, but I didn't have enough for them to do. That was sort of their role, but you need to outsource the social media almost at the start, because otherwise they sit around and you feel a bit frustrated in yourself because you're not giving them enough to do. Chloe's come in, she does emails, social media, viewings, deals, all sorts of stuff. She loves it. She's far nicer than I am. She's far more sociable. She takes the leads that I'm sometimes a bit skeptical about because I'm maybe a bit long in the tooth. You know, you see them and you're like, is that? She'll pick it up, make sure it's done, make sure it's dealt with, and it's a great team. We really make a great team. And I think the success has been since we let the boys go, we've actually kicked on a lot, and there'll come a point where we need to probably expand. But the processes of working together actually works really well. And it's...
So is it from 9 to 5, your business partners, and then from 5 to 9, your partners?
Good question. Do you know what I find interesting? That is a good question. I think like it gives you so much common ground. You are like, we're best friends and all the rest of it anyway, but you just have so much to talk about. You've got a deal that you've got, you know, there's some funny stuff going on. You'll chat about it. We do find the separation when it needs it, but we don't need it because we're so close. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're so close to someone, it's a bit like, you know, you two, you probably still speak. You don't cut your lines at 6 p.m. You probably still speak at 9 p.m. You go out for beers.
We don't cut our lines.
Never.
No. We were this morning, 8 o'clock playing paddle again.
I'm on holiday. I'm on holiday in Berlin, and honestly, I was so hungover. I was calling my phone. I'd arranged him to go somewhere, and I've got like 3 missed calls. Like, we never stop talking.
That's what I mean. You just like...
How many business trips have you filed into your tax return?
I don't know what you're talking about. Good one. But I don't know what you're about.
No comment.
Moving on to the next
Come
question.
up with these questions.
Was that not?
That wasn't written down.
It's a good question. It's a good question. But
That's interesting. I don't know what it would be
No,
like
but I
to
speak
work.
to Joe like about. I don't think obviously Rosie. I don't know if she fully gets that's Joe's wife, and I don't think she fully gets. But it must be nice to have a fiance that fully gets what you do and does what you do as well. So when you're happy, like you're both happy.
yeah, I think it is. I think it's pros and cons for everything, right?
Yeah.
Like that is the pro. There are cons, you know. Sometimes she tells me what to do on a deal that I'm doing. I'm like,
Shut up.
I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time. I know exactly what I'm doing. She's like, no, you don't know what you're doing. You're too this and that. And I'm like, you've been doing it for a few years. You can't be telling me what to do. But then it's your missus.
Do you have those arguments?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes she says like you're too harsh or you're too strong.
But do you actually pull rank? Do you actually?
Of course, when it comes to getting the thing done, I have to pull rank. You know, that's just the nature of.
I hear she got promotion.
She's now a director. Yeah, she's now a director. She's done well. So, recent promotion before Christmas. And I think, do you know what it is? She's actually done really well. She's pulled in some clients on stuff where they've bought stuff, and then she's gone on to do a few acquisitions for them. She's bringing in fees. She's doing well. The marketing / fee income part.
Is that nothing to do with the dividend that she can pull out and tax saving?
We're back to the same sort of question that we were on before, aren't we?
I'm having the same conversation at home as well.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Listen, there's benefits, but she is actually doing really well. So.
I think we had this conversation on another pod. Do you see a benefit of having women in the property sector?
Yes.
You do, yeah?
I think so. Do you know what I'll be honest, I do worry about is viewings, like, you know, you've got viewings in some sort of, I don't know, dodgier places of London, you know, so to
South
speak.
London.
And you got, you know, honestly, I'm being serious. You've got units with like basements, and you've got them doing viewings later in the afternoons in the winter when it's dark. And I do worry. And I've had times where I'm like, I ring her periodically before or after to make sure she's okay. And
Are you Jewish?
I'm not Jewish, no.
It's a very Jewish mother outlook.
I've been asked that quite a lot of times, saving up to be. But you know, that is my, you know, tendency to try and make sure she's okay, and I do worry a bit about that because of the way the world's going a bit. Which I don't know, you know, that is what it is.
What are you going to do if you have kids?
I'll be this. I'm going to have to be better, I think, is the answer to that question. I'm
So
going to have
you
to
worry?
I'm a bit of a
parents
worrier. My mum's a bit of a worrier, so
that's where it stems from.
Yeah, ingrained in me a bit to just worry about welfare of like you know, even my mum and dad. Like, I'm worrying about them, make sure they're all right, and just like you say, that's a Jewish thing because I know a few like Jewish clients that are exactly the same. I think I've got with the kids thing. I think I'll have to be a bit more calm.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you tell me, mate. You probably give me the advice
I've
there.
got 5, haven't I? So yeah, it is hard work and bloody expensive, but worth it.
Yeah.
But she's your business partner and she's got a kid. You're going to have to bring someone else in to help, aren't you?
We probably will. We'll tackle it when it comes.
Like an au pair.
No, someone to help the
business. Yeah, the business.
Yeah.
Right.
Could get an au pair and someone else. So yeah. Could go
it's
both.
a fair shout.
It's a fair shout. We could go both. Depends how well we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I've got a few. I've always got irons in the fire with that because like so. What I find interesting about playing for Old Medonians, which is the football club I play for in Chiswick, there's some boys there. I'm like, you'd be great agents. Like you're proper lads. I think access to new members of staff is a difficult thing when you're a business in London because you might get a recruiter or whatever. You might put ads online, but you're not in control of like who you're getting in there. It might be through friends or clients, you know, kids or whatever it might be. But I play for this football team in Chiswick, and there's some lads there that I'm like, you would be an excellent agent. I've spent a lot of time throughout the season with you as a person to understand what you're like. I think that's always the thing. You do an interview, it's hard to know exactly what someone's like. You've only got a short period of time, whether it be 2 or 3 interviews.
Yeah. But you said you're very psychologically inept. Surely you can sort of get quite a decent grip as to what that person's about.
From the interviews?
Yeah.
I've not done that on certain occasions where I've employed
it's
people.
impossible. We
Yeah,
employed
really
you.
not. Yeah,
It's
really not.
impossible.
True.
Yeah.
True. I was terrible.
Then you rock up in like an Arsenal kit or something.
Santos.
I don't
Name
mind
of
that.
it.
I think that's all right. To be fair,
got the
that's
job.
not something that I would turn down. I'd be like, that's interesting.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
I was told he's a little bit off the wall, but he's got something. And
Yeah.
He definitely had something.
I remember you eyeing me up in the interview and your face was like, what the fuck is this guy about?
Yeah.
He's still asking the same question.
I am.
He's still doing the same, actually. I've been looking across the table. He's doing the same thing. So how did you get into what's going on with the podcast? What's the transition into that? Have you
Into this in particular?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
obviously not
learning-
the Alex Martin
No,
thing, but
from Alex Martin
yeah.
to podcast.
Did you go straight into podcasting from Alex Martin?
Do you know what? I can't really tell the story. I don't really know. I just I met someone who was doing a podcast here. I quite liked the setup. Everyone's got a podcast, you know, in every sector: football, podcast, beauty. And I thought, I talk so much shit about football.
True.
Yeah.
If I, you know, put a camera on me and clipped it up, it's going to get views.
Yeah.
So I did.
So what's is your viewing numbers? Is it Arsenal focused or is it more football
It is
focused?
predominantly Arsenal, but it's all football.
Okay.
All right, Matt, sorry.
go on.
Ask him a question, what the score was, I know, in the last 10 years of an
14.
Arsenal. 14 years. Any match in the last 14 years that Arsenal played, and he'll tell you what the score was and who scored.
This is true.
Uh,
Well, you got to get it up for proof, unless you know.
Yeah,
it.
but
you can do it later.
I'm obviously going Leeds, and I'm going era of like Viduka era.
No, it's not the last 14 years, sir.
Okay, yes.
From
okay,
August
okay.
2011 till now.
Okay, right now. Okay, yeah.
Go like Leeds away, whatever.
Okay, I've got one. I've got one. Leeds played you in the FA Cup when Bielsa was manager. I went,
Yeah.
which was maybe I want to
Oh,
say.
come on, look it up for sure.
18.
So you know.
Okay, right, yeah. Let's have a look.
I already know the answer.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer. I was there. Certain legend squad.
Was that too easy?
Yeah.
Was that one too easy?
No, it's not particularly easy, but I was there as well.
Did Alex Song get the assist?
No, he's not thinking of that one. It's Bielsa.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bielsa. I think is that right? No, it's not right.
I believe he's talking about
2020.
2020. So that was 1-0 Arsenal
Yeah.
with Reece Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know who scored. I just knew
Can you
it was.
describe the goal?
I can. It was a ricochet, come back to him, and he sort of rebounded it.
I was there in a box actually with the guys that bought Ormside.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do
Can you,
Which is the deal? Which is the
is
deal?
there copyright stuff that you can actually put that on?
I'll put it over. I'll overlay it.
Yeah, okay.
Do you find football a good way to network?
Again, that's quite a good. That's a really good question. So football for me is so I run a small business. Obviously, me and my missus. I've got my clients, which is the social side. But for me, football is my social side on a Saturday where you can go and play and have a beer and take your mind off work, and it gives you that release of.
You forget about every other
Yeah, just
troubles.
talking property. Like I've always played football. The question was you asked me earlier about has it always been property? I wanted to be a footballer when I was younger.
Did you get viral?
Yeah, I played good. Half decent stand. I was Shrewsbury Academy for like 4 years. I had trials at Coventry, Preston. Always too small. That was always the feedback. I'm centre midfielder.
Never get that. The best player of all time is 5'6".
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird one, but I'm a centre midfielder and, you know, always too small. But when I was at Coventry, like I went to the trial and I scored such a good goal. And they were like, I'd been scouted for about 8 games before that for the club I was playing for. So like, come to the trial, which was literally, you know, some trials it might be over a couple of weeks. You come for training 3 times a week. This trial was like a 1-day trial. And I scored at a screamer, and I was like, I've done well here.
I mean,
yeah, well, you think you've done, like, what more do you need to do? Like, obviously, you're a striker and you score and you do nothing. That's sort of what they look for. But I was obviously a centre midfielder, and they were like, you know, everyone was a lot bigger, stronger, taller, and they were like, "No, you're just too small for the role that you want to be filled." Like that was it. Like not release because
Bang out of order.
It's
Heart over height.
I think like you know, I think that was the old school tendencies. I think in the new style of football, they probably don't do it as ruthlessly as that. I don't know because I've not been involved in any academies for a long
you're probably
time.
right.
I'm sure they look a bit more intellectually at the stats and the figures and the numbers rather than just like, oh, he's too small to be a centre midfielder in this day and age. Because you know the football's a different style now, isn't it? It's different. So
Yeah, back in the day it was a lot more physical and like, get off me.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly.
Do you come from small stock, as in your mum and dad?
My dad's not tall. No, they're both not tall. No, they're not tall. My dad's probably, he's the same height as me. I say I'm 5'8", probably 5'7.5".
that means it's 5'6".
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I swear to you, that's the height when the tape comes down. How tall are you, Alex?
On Tinder, yeah, back in the day.
I hope you're not on there anymore.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. I was 5'7" on Tinder, but I actually reckon I'm more like 5'6".
Okay.
But both my parents were 5'1".
Oh,
So,
right, no,
yeah,
yeah,
so
my
I'm
parents are
like,
taller than that.
yeah, so I'm like, I
smashed it.
yeah, I smashed it.
well.
I'm,
That's
I'm proud of
medically-
the
that's
heights that I've
medically
achieved,
dwarfed.
you know? Huh?
they're medically dwarfed.
Mate, no. shut
bit
up.
You
harsh.
just come up.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his mum and dad just.
So-
That's
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not the most PC thing you'll ever hear. But
Yeah.
I thought that if you're a certain age and a certain height, then you are scientifically.
It's not
but
5'1", mate. It's
I don't know.
like 4 foot something.
yeah, it's
All
got
right, continue the conversation. I just need
But
to do a
at
bit of
school,
research.
I'd be like walking to school, and literally I was a sports bag and feet walking to school with like a tennis racket or a cricket bat sitting out the back of it, and it was just that I was tiny.
Yeah.
I was that much smaller than everyone at school. It's only as I, got 17, 18, I slowly became a little bit more normal.
But do you know what's quite interesting with the height stuff, right?
Yeah.
This is quite like I don't mind, like I don't care,
Yeah.
get on with it, whatever. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But people are allowed to say a lot of stuff about people that are a bit shorter. But if you say something about other things, which I won't say because I'm on a live podcast.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to say it. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? How you're allowed to say certain things about other things.
Interesting point.
Do you know, I've always thought that. It's a bit weird that you're allowed to criticise someone's height, but then it comes to their whatever. I'm not going to say. But you're not allowed to do that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who?
What's the spectrum?
Well, who decided the rules?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we should change the rules.
I don't want to change the rules. I don't care really, but I'm
There
just
are
saying
no
it's
rules.
there are no rules, but it's just an interesting thing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Did you find the stat?
Yeah, 4'10". So
Not
actually
far off, to be fair.
Yeah, wow.
4'10". In
Yeah,
medical terms,
your
dwarfism
facts.
is typically defined as an adult height of 4'10" or less.
Your facts
Can we
are just never
make sure
right.
this is? We don't
They're
need this on the
usually quite
podcast, surely.
close.
Surely this gets cut. We can get this
no,
cut.
that's what it's all about, really. We're just a couple of
Your
lads.
facts are just never right.
Yeah, but they're
You said to me
almost
the other
right.
day that Epping Forest is the biggest forest in. What is it you said?
Europe.
In the world.
In the
No,
Well, there is the
in
Amazon.
England.
in
Yeah.
England. I searched. It wasn't even in the top 10.
It was
like, oh, no.
in the top 10.
There's always excuses as well.
Ben never admits that he's wrong. So don't
Did
work
you
with
two
him.
work together?
No.
No. In my
replaced me.
first week, Matt was shadowing me. I was shadowing Matt, and
How did that go?
No, oh my God, I was teaching you.
which is
Joy in his face.
which is so crazy.
Oh,
Which is
so
so
good
crazy
see
to believe that Matt
one of my
was actually
students.
my teacher for a week.
It's
But
good to see him excel.
no, I learned a lot.
Taught
From
him
him.
everything you know.
Yeah.
Everything he knows.
Yeah.
He's very proud of him.
I want to say I learned a lot from him, but maybe not in the property world, but I did. He took me on a walk on my first day. Do you remember?
Tell him what I said.
I can't even remember what you said, but you said something like honestly, you'll realise these guys that you're working for are the best guys. Like,
Fucking hell, he paid him a few quid for that.
That's amazing.
He was low on staff numbers then, so he was trying to bolster the ranks. That's an Alex Dawson tactic to me.
We went to Athens last summer and we spoke about it. We were pretty drunk, and you said, "Was I right?" And I said, "Yeah, you were."
I gave him like a Tony Soprano pep talk. Like, once you join the family, you're in the family. There's no getting out.
That's Tony. How before its time was that? Gee, you're Sopranos then, so you're
I'm a big Sopranos
How old are
fan.
you?
22.
22. Okay, because that's like a old,
Yeah, but it's timeless.
timeless, isn't it? But do you know what I find amazing about Sopranos is like how they've called some of the stuff there so early.
Yeah.
Like when that was first filmed, like they're calling the woke tendencies and some of the things the kids started doing early and stuff. And like even watch it now, I've rewatched it a couple of times.
I was
Sopranos.
going to say, you must have. Yeah, this is very lively.
Yeah, I love it.
I've got a Sopranos tattoo. Obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on, get it out.
You read that? Remember that?
No.
I love the
Fake
honesty.
fan, no. Wait,
He says
talk to me,
it
sorry.
to Dr. Melfi, who obviously you know.
Yeah.
He says, after all the moaning, the complaining, and all the fucking bullshit, is this all there is?
Oh, yeah. Okay, right.
And I just thought, what a quote. Like, is this all there is?
Yeah,
But it's a bit dreary though, isn't it? If you thought,
It's a bit deep.
Yeah, it's a bit deep. As in, like, are you worried that is this all there is in life?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also got a Spider-Man tattoo, so
do?
He's filling them out, and he's filling them out with a few bits.
You've seen Spider-Man, right?
I've seen Spider-Man, yeah.
He's never seen Spider-Man.
I don't really watch films. I get home, watch any live sport, football.
I'm saying, but I'll tell you the things that I like the series that I love, which are Entourage. You seen Entourage?
I've actually just started watching.
Please watch that. Ari Gold's the best. He's the best. He's the best.
Yes.
He's the best character.
I can see a bit of Ari in you.
Yeah.
You're
He's
actually quite similar looking.
He's the best. Well, I'm not Jewish, but yeah. He's the best character on TV. Like Ari. Have you seen Entourage?
I haven't, but Tony Soprano is.
Someone said I remind him of Vince.
I have seen it.
No, watch Entourage.
I'm on season 4 and I'm really enjoying it.
Entourage is amazing. Like that's great. And Ari Gold is just he's like that is sort of a bit of inspiration for me as an agent, which people would be like, what? It's like a
No,
complete
I don't think they will. I think some people will relate to that.
fictional character. It gives you a bit of like, you know, but he's so it's a bit of context if people haven't watched Entourage. Ari Gold is the film agent for all the film stars, a bit like we are the property agents to the investors, developers, whatever it may be. But it's just amazing some of the stuff he does to get deals done. It's funny. It's like I'd watch that.
His relationship with his wife is so
yeah, brilliant. It's so good.
I just watched a scene where where he leaves is the first company he's at, and he starts fresh with what's his assistant called?
Vince.
No, the Chinese.
Turtle.
No. What's his? Oh my god,
the Chinese guy.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm letting myself down. Lloyd. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a common character.
I know, yeah.
He goes home,
He's the
he's
best.
battered.
Him and Lloyd's relationship is so funny. It's the best. You're gonna have to
good.
crop that, otherwise I'm gonna look like a complete fraud. But Lloyd, Lloyd.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people, when they watch these shows, it does define their personality quite a lot in the future.
It does. Honestly, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you just sort of.
You want to be like that.
And what else is there to relate to? Like I don't know a property. Obviously, you get it on social media now. You've got all these agents that try and be the person that you think you should be. Right? There's a few at the moment. I'll give you an example. Daniel Daggers. Right? Let's use that example, which is probably a little. I don't relate to him at all. I don't really like what he's about. I feel like he's a bit narcissistic. That is not who I want to be, right? And I'm sorry, but they put themselves up there. They should be allowed a bit of criticism, which it feels like they're not allowed any criticism because
Probably a good bloke.
He might be personally as a bloke away from property, but in terms of like the way he presents himself, he shows himself as a know-it-all. And there's a few others like this Grant Bates guy that does it as well. And I'm like, that's not real. I don't relate to that. Whereas Ari makes mistakes, and because everything's like the filter is no mistakes, isn't it? Perfect. Whereas we watch these series now, and Ari makes all these mistakes, and he does all these things, and you're like, I relate to that because I'm making mistakes when I'm doing deals and when I'm in life. You know, Tony Soprano. How many mistakes did you make during the series? You relate to it because you're allowed to make a few mistakes in your life, whereas these people now on social media,
it's all perfect, sunshine and rainbows.
But I do think sometimes it relates.
Exactly right, isn't it? It's draining. Yeah. It tires you out because you think I can't compete with that.
But sometimes, like, obviously, I'm the most junior here I've been at Alex Martin for 2 years, and I was in the property game for 2 years before that. And sometimes I speak to agents, I speak to people, and you can tell they're not like. Some people are a lot more patient. Some people say, "Mate, if you ever need me and Alex and Joe aren't available, just call me." And I do. But there's other people you speak to, and you automatically think, "Oh, are you looking down on me because I haven't been in the game as long?" Like, you can definitely
Egos.
sense egos, and it's not nice to. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather someone say, "Look, you're wrong about that," but it's sweet, it's fine. Like, we'll work on it.
I think I don't like to preach to people about how to conduct themselves or whatever. You conduct yourself however you want, but I think just make sure you're human with people is the key, isn't it? I think like that's why you get on with people well. You're human, you talk to people properly, and I think the same thing, I'm sure you do the same. I know we've not come across each other often, but that's because we haven't done a deal together. But if you can ring me up and go, right, mate, how's it going? Or like, what's going on? And you can talk about a bit of football and a bit of this and a bit of like, I've had a weekend, I've had a nightmare, I've had this. It makes you feel a bit more like
personable.
Yeah, exactly. And there's people I ring up and they're like, everything's going well, mate. Yeah, I'm doing really well. And you're like, oh my
it's like
God.
a competition.
Yeah, and
I think the key to that might be showing vulnerability.
Yeah.
Building relationships is being vulnerable and letting someone see you at your lowest and your highest. Because I've had a friend, I'm not going to name the name, but I'm sure that you might have as well, but some friends, they only tell you when it's going good. Yeah. And that's not what true friends do, because you, as a friend, you want your friend to tell you that he's suffering, because you want to roll around in the mud with them. You want to, shovel the shit with them. Yeah, you want to help them. Yeah. And if they don't give you that opportunity to help them, then you can't really create a bond. It's more so a competition.
Yeah. I've lost like best friends from that mantra. Like, you can't relate to them. They'll never come to you. Whether that's because they
insecurity.
You might be right. You might be right, but like, I always think that I'm open to that. And if someone tells me something where they need my help, I'm there to help them. That's like in my nature. Like I talk to you about like my missus going for viewings and whatever, and I want to help people. I want to make sure people are all right. If you open that up, I think it makes you feel better about people. It just gives you that connection where it's not always great. Like, it is not always great. Everything's tough. The market's tough. Deals are tough. Life's tough. You might have conversations or things going on. You've got stuff going on. You've got stuff going on. And how often do you have it where people, like, it can work in reverse actually, where people always throw all of their shit on the table and they make that the excuse to not. It's a balance. Like, give people a nugget of, I'm struggling with this at the moment, mate, but I'm really here to try and make this deal happen, or whatever it might be, or just a normal conversation. Yeah. Let's work through this together, and then we'll break the conversation up into two. And if you want to have a beer because you've got a problem going on at home, I'll have a beer with you, mate.
What was I saying? Oh, about where I used to work.
Oh, sorry, yeah, clarity.
And I was so keen to like impress, and I was telling my boss, I was like, oh yeah, like, I've got this and this going on. When in reality, shit was like falling out of bed all over the place, and I just wanted to impress him. And then I started working with you. I was calling you, telling you positive things, and I think you were sort of in the back of the head like, why is he telling me this shit? But it's just how I was ingrained to work. Yeah. And now I think about the phone calls we have, half of it is dull and depressing, not in a bad way, but it's like, this deal's fucking up, this deal's got a problem, that deal's got a problem, but it's good because we're solving the problems together. But it's just us being real with each other.
But the culture, it's the culture of the world we live in, right? We don't like difficult conversations, and we don't like talking about things that are a bit scary.
Which is sad.
It is sad, but it's like, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, right? I've never been on a podcast before, and I thought, when you asked me, and I didn't know you guys at all. I've never met two of you, didn't know Alex well. Put yourself in a difficult situation. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it puts you out of your comfort zone. And a lot of these people don't like to challenge like the difficult conversation, whether it be a bad deal. That is the thing that makes a lot of people not good agents, is not being able to have that difficult conversation, which I'm sure.
And out the problem. Yeah, right.
And out the problem. But at the start, because we'll sort it out. Right, what is the problem? This person doesn't want it because of that. Right, it's a finance problem. Right, let's get this broker in. Let's get this sorted. Like, let's move it around. It's all about. It's a puzzle. It's Rubik's Cube. They're all Rubik's Cubes.
Like, we all feel comfortable enough. Sometimes we'll sit, all three of us, me, Alex and Joe, and just problem solve. All right, what's your input? What's your input? What's your input? And then eventually we'll all start like role playing it together and brainstorm, and then we'll come to something together. It's better to do that and just sit and
Seems like you've got a good little mix, and it's hard to build a good team of people that have got that expertise. Joe been with you a bit longer though, hasn't he? He's been 5 years. Yeah.
Do you have any advice
I thought you were going to ask me, do I have a favourite? Yeah, that would have
Go
been
on, ask him that.
Yeah, go on quickly.
That's my question.
Yeah, it's very difficult. They're very different. But Joe's killing it at the moment, so I can't afford to let him go. Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You can't let Ben go. He's a good, he's a good guy.
I'm sure you're going to look to expand your business as time goes on. Do you have any advice to Chris and to the viewers on how to build a good team?
you know already. I mean, the beauty of him is his emotional intelligence. He'll say what he's thinking. He can see the problems, look ahead and want to discuss it. I feel very, very safe. He's not going to do anything stupid. And I consider Ben and Joe effectively family. They're lifers. They're not going anywhere now. And I will go out my way if a deal happens, even if they're not involved now. Like, you've got a part of that. You sorted out the heads of terms. You did that one viewing. I'll find an excuse to put money in their pocket and the whole foam grows together, where I don't think a lot of bosses do that. I'm the cheese. I'm the big cheese. I've got the ego. I'm in charge. They should be grateful for getting these scraps. And to me, I've got to a point where I'm financially secure, and it's now, no, let's get these guys financially secure. They will not want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Great answer.
Great answer.
That is a great answer, to be fair.
And that ties in with, being emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Means that you have that, you have it in you to be vulnerable, like I said.
Yeah.
And vulnerability is so key.
Yeah, actually got to a point with Al, like he was saying to me he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll pay you on this deal," and I was like, "Al, I've never been to the building, like because we've got like our office stuff. We're trying to get our office in check, with office managers and stuff. So I'm in the office, like sort of controlling all that." And he was like, "No, but you help me on this," and I was like, "But I want to be out there doing it." And he was like, "You appreciate that?" I said that to you. And
Mate, I think listen, I've never met you before, and just from hearing you speak, I've heard the podcast. I've obviously tried to understand how the pods go before I came on. I think you speak like an agent. You've got that, like, you want to understand the situations. You want to understand people. You want to get on with people. Even like, you were saying you were going to the football with Gemma. I think like those sorts of things, if you can just put yourself in those situations, which is difficult, right? You got to go to the football with, I don't know how well you know Gemma or whatever, but with someone you don't know that well. I was always really committed, and I found it sometimes difficult because, like, socially, I am good socially, but not like as much as people think. Yeah. People think that I am like the most sociable, comfortable person.
Off the back of this, I would have thought.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. I'm an introvert naturally. I can do it.
I am.
Yeah, but it wears me out hard, and I actually just want to be home and just recharge.
Honestly, and it's challenging yourself to put yourself with people where you just feel a little bit uncomfortable, where you're a bit overawed with it, and you just got to keep going. And like another example is football team talks for my team this season, right? It's like public speaking is my worst thing. I've really struggled with it. And that was one of the reasons why I accepted being a manager for the football team. I don't need to be a manager, right? I love playing. It's not, I'm not going to get anything for being a manager, but I got asked to do it. And I thought, you know what, this is a challenge, because I'd signed up for this public speaking thing before and I never actually persevered with it, which is like you go to sessions and you can speak in public. And I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And I'll do the team talks and stuff like that. And there's a few where I just melted. Yeah. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, football dressing room is an interesting place, right? You've got lots of big characters.
In all different lives.
All different like views on stuff. And to get everyone's attention and speak is quite difficult. Yeah. In a train of like, in a direction where everyone's on the train, right? And
it's more difficult as a player when you're all like, I feel like being a manager, you're sort of one above the players, but being a player manager, is it not like, well, you're a player as well? Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I think like, I think as a player, I don't want to speak to it because the boys will watch it and they'll be like, what are you saying? But as a player, I think like I always embody the team. Like I'm hardworking. I do all the things that
a leader.
A bit of a leader on the pitch, yeah.
Skipper as well.
Basically, I manage it with another lad. We share it and we do half and half because there's a lot of admin and stuff. So we do it together and we captain, game on, game off. But on the pitch, like, I'm a leader. Like, I've always been a captain of every team I've played in. I'm a centre midfielder. I'm hardworking. I'm quite like
consistent.
Yeah, I'm always. I like
6 out of 10 every game.
I would say
like a Lee Cattermole.
I wanted to go 7. I wanted to go 7, but yeah, Lee Cattermole. I wanted to go more like Scotty Parker, but he's actually Burnley gaffer.
Michael Carrick.
Yeah. David Batty's more my vibe.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is
Tanaka,
yeah, he's Tanaka. But anyway, just more like consistent, there every week, and like I'm quite aggressive in my challenges, set the tone for the team and all that stuff. And I think that's what you need to do as a leader. Like first challenge for me is key on a football pitch. So I will make sure that I put that first challenge in heavy-ish. So it's wins the ball, or it might
set the
tone. Everyone's up for it. And that's what you've got to do as a leader of a business, I think, is you've got to just show everyone in the team that let's do deals, let's do this, let's not be scared to ring X, Y, and Z, let's sort this out. And I think that's sort of like probably how you do it. I don't know.
You're looking for verification.
I'm not looking for verification, but I'm on your podcast, and I thought, like, you know, that's how you've got to do it. You've got to show the boys how to.
They did a study on most captains of American football teams in these colleges go on to be super successful because they've got that, you know, they're not going to be NFL pros, but they've got the leadership skills and the discipline that can take them to the next level in another world, in a business world. So it's interesting. It's Tony Soprano. He was meant to be American football. He was the leader of his team. Obviously, he used it in the wrong trade, but it's just an example that
Waste management.
Yeah.
But it's true though, like, and that's why I love those sorts of series as well. I love Succession as well. Quite rate that as well. That's a great series. Yeah, it's a great series.
But 2 weeks just watched it back
quality.
to back.
So White Lotus.
Yeah,
that's good as well. Yeah, that's good. But I just think like with Tony Soprano, I'm like, how you lead a load of mob bosses. Sorry, like different. Like you got to be the man. How are you controlling all these different mobs in like different places as well as your own group of people to direct them? That's what do you know what I love? Like I love war documentaries. That's like one of my other things as well. Like so, you know, you look back and you look at, like, for example, it's contentious, but Hitler, right?
Yeah. I was just thinking, the best leader of all time.
But it's true that obviously
for
the wrong reasons. But if you watch war documentaries and you think, how has he got a whole nation on side with his way of thinking and doing what they were doing? It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Genius.
It's genius.
Evil genius.
Exactly right. And we're not saying it's right. We're just saying, how has he managed to, you know, Winston Churchill from on the other side of the coin, you know, the heroic side. How can you get, like the Dunkirk stuff, how can you get everyone into that frame of mind that you need them to be on? That's an interesting.
I think you're born with it.
I think you're born with it. Yeah, I think so.
Don't think it can be taught. Yeah.
I think you're born with like hunger, but I don't know. I think you've got to be taught it to an extent.
I
what about someone like, I don't know, Zelensky at the moment? I mean, he was a comedian, wasn't he? And he kind of got forced into the role, but
he had it in
Was he a comedian? I don't actually know anything about him.
Yeah, comedian,
okay,
yeah.
right.
But he had it in him.
Yeah, he's a very impressive guy.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't want to cut, mate, but we're at 6, and we still got to do his questions.
Yeah.
What have you got?
I mean, I wanted you to talk to me about a deal that you did that was a form of vet.
Okay, yeah.
It's an interesting story.
Interesting story, yeah. So we were selling, now contracts exchange, we're selling a building in Surrey Quays, which was an old vet's, and Chloe was actually, so my fiancée Chloe was doing the viewings, and so she was doing the viewings, and a bin man came in with a box. This just shows you the sort of like the type of situations that we come across as agents, which are out of the ordinary. Came in with a box, live animal, said, please, can you just take this? My missus said, no, the vet's is closed down. So, you know, like, that's not for me to take. He was like, no, I'm going, bolted out the door. And she opened the box and it was a guinea pig. So someone had left a guinea pig near their bin in Surrey Quays, which the bin man had brought to the vets to try and hand off. And yeah, so we've adopted that guinea pig.
No way.
We have indeed, yeah. So we've got a rescue guinea pig and it's called Moose. Because he looks like a moose because of his fur colour.
How old is he?
We don't know. So interesting you asked that. That's really interesting. So we thought the same thing. We were like, how old is he? Like, how long do they live? Like,
They
how
can
long?
usually tell by the teeth.
So his teeth are really white and really long. So we were like, let's take him to the. So we were selling a couple of vets. We were selling a couple of buildings that were vets. So the other building was in London Bridge. They were at Medivet, which is like quite a well-known brand. So we were like, let's take him to the Medivet in London Bridge that we were selling to see how old he is. And they were like, we can't tell. We're like, they can't tell how old the guinea pig is. Which I don't know if that's right. You know, maybe there's a vet that will come onto the YouTube comments
and
question. But they said they couldn't tell. So we don't know how old he is, but we adopted him because with a guinea pig, there's not many options there. Like with what you do with him.
What's their life expectancy?
5 or 6 if they live
that's
really
a
well.
shame.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6. Your short life
You might
expectancy.
be about 5.
Could be 5.
6.
Hopefully not. Hopefully
Does
not.
he move a bit
It'll break my missus' heart if he's 5 or
sorry.
6. So I hope not.
Does he
He's good. He's lively. He's lively.
What does he do?
So so we took him. So when he first got into the office, he was running about. I was like, we're not having him. Like, he's got to go somewhere else. And my missus is like, who's going to give? Like, we've got to take him. I was like, right, take him home. Let's see what happens. She's bought that day Amazon cage, sawdust, 2 types of bed. Like, he's got it all, right? So he's gone from Surrey Quays to Chiswick. He's now living in Chiswick with all his like different beds and homes and stuff like that. He actually runs about the house. He's got his cage open the whole time. So he's got mats under the sofa, runs around. He's toilet trained.
What?
So he's toilet trained. So he's got like they're drop-ins. Like they're just drop-ins on the mat. Sleeps in his cage and he's living the life.
Do you love him?
I think I do, yeah.
So
I love animals. Do you know what I love? Do you know what? Animals are great because they're the nicest. Like, they're companions, aren't they? They mean well. Do you know what I mean about animals? They're
Dogs.
just. Dogs are the best. But
we had this conversation earlier. We were saying it's a massive judge of character.
Yeah.
If you get on with a dog and dogs get on with you, yeah, you're
Not
wrong.
just that, but if you don't like dogs, you've got a real issue.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so. Yeah.
So are you a believer? Do you believe in God?
No, I'm not.
Would you not classify that as a gift from the gods?
I think Ilmi needs us to wrap up.
Oh, really?
Ilmi? 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, would you not classify that as a gift from God? Just a random geezer turning up at that time with your missus there, giving you a guinea pig. Is that not a gift from God?
So I'm not religious, and I wouldn't like that. Wouldn't be my initial thought. Is that it's a gift from God, but I'm not against religion and. On a religious podcast like Alex Martin's.
I think we're going to need a part 2 because this is a big conversation.
But you know what? I think like it was meant to. So we say, me and my Mrs. Clubby, we say it was meant to be, and we've taken Moose on, and we actually love him. Like he's a great little character. My Mrs. loves animals anyway. She has him on her shoulder all the time, and
You got a picture?
I've got plenty of pictures.
We're going to overlay it.
I've got like stickers, I've got pictures, I've got all sorts going on.
Oh, you are proper in love.
Yeah, proper.
I want a guinea pig.
We had a guinea pig when we were younger called Chaz, and my dog ate him.
What?
Yeah, not the dog you met, my old dog.
Fully ate
So can
him.
I'll tell you like a little extension of this. This is that's him there.
What's happening?
God. He's like a rabbit.
Yeah, he's like a rabbit. So I'll tell you, there's a little extension to the story which is quite funny, which people might find a bit weird, but anyway, it's a real podcast, isn't it? So we went to Soho Farmhouse for Easter, and we took Moose with us. So because we stayed there for a couple of nights, and you're not supposed to leave them for over 24 hours. So we were like, what we're going to do with him? So we took him with us to Soho Farmhouse. So we've got him in the car. We've rocked up to Farmhouse, which is I've never been there before. My missus bought it for my birthday. She was like, pre-Moose, so she bought it before we got Moose, and we got there, and they were like, "You got any animals with you or anything like that?" And we were like, "No, it's fine," because we were just going to take his cage, put it in the room, and just leave him there because he's fine. And they were like, "Oh no, we'll clear, because Farmhouse, all the pods are all like in the farm, so they actually clear your car out for you and take everything to your room, so it's not like you can carry your own stuff." So we then flag, shit, we have actually got a guinea pig cage in the car, so they're gonna spot that we've got a guinea pig. So we went back to the woman, we were actually, sorry, we have got a guinea pig in the car that needs to come to the room. And they were like, right, okay, thinking we're completely weird, which may be the truth. And then so then she was like, right, okay, no worries. And then 2 minutes later she went, oh, by the way, our area manager's coming to have a chat with you. And I thought, oh God, here we go. Like we're not going to be allowed to stay because it's a guinea pig or whatever. And then we looked at the website, and it was like, it's only service dogs that are allowed at Soho Farmhouse. So you can only have service dogs, not rodents, because that's what a guinea pig is, which is fair enough.
That's a harsh term.
Yeah, it is a rodent though. It's a rodent. I actually get that's my nickname at football. Actually, is rat. I'm a rat in the midfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
Rat.
sort of. Hopefully, I look a bit better than him. Anyway, so we've had to talk to the manager. We've had to upgrade our room to a room that allows for
Rodents.
Well, I don't think they're especially designed for rodents, but they would allow it because the rooms we had wasn't a pet-friendly room. So we had to upgrade on the base of our guinea pig, and then we had we had to take him take him on.
What a story to finish on, Chris. What a pleasure. I actually wish we could keep going.
Yeah, same.
But our time is up. Thank you for coming
worries.
on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for watching. Till next time.